Well, happy Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you all for being here. Today, I ran across something thanks to a subscriber, and I want to talk a little bit about it. You could probably figure out what that was based off of the thumbnail. Um, Information's already in the description down below. I'm going to add some more stuff a little bit later on. Obviously, if I put everything there, you don't even need to watch this to go review it. So I want to talk a little bit about that, but let's go ahead and get to the pleasantries first. First off, as always, we have Paula and Eric. Thank you two for coming up. I appreciate you being here.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Let's go
Volume
through.
is low. Yeah, Great Scott, it is.
My
Your
volume is low.
volume's, yeah.
How about that? Is that better?
Yes.
All right.
Ask the chat though. They may be hearing something different than I am.
Yeah, I've got you muted on YouTube, so I don't know.
Morning, Steve. How you doing? Kevin Rose. Good morning. How you guys doing? Just Frosties. That should be a little bit better. I've raised my volume up, so hopefully that helps. So it should be a
But what a
much louder
beautiful
now.
morning.
It's raining here.
Well, it always rains there, doesn't it?
No, no, not always. Not here. Not in Southern Oregon, but
Not quite like it does on the coast, but
uh, but it's a good
Like
thing I
here,
didn't put all my tombstones and stuff out last night because I
we're
would.
finally in our dry season, hopefully. But usually from May to beginning of October, it rains every day pretty much.
yeah, that was the thing when we were when I was in the Navy down there in Orlando. Yeah, 10, 2, and 4, it rained like clockwork. You'd almost set your clock by it.
Yep, go to the beach and get suntan. Well, lunchtime, rain during lunch, go back out and sunny again.
I could deal with that though. I'd
Oh,
be
I
okay
love
with
it.
that.
I love it. Everybody goes, "How can you like that? Don't you like the heat?" And I love it.
Yeah, but it's warm rain. We have cold rain here. Yeah, more privies, Grace Scott. They said that when they first came out with these star things that they were going to be doing more of the privies. So
Well, and now that we know they got that laser engraver, it's easy. You can add it to any die you want.
yeah, it's still stupid.
Yeah, so the interview that I was listening to, and I got to thank one of my subscribers for sending me a message yesterday on this, was between Whitman and the publishing company, the one that does the Gray Sheet and the Red Book, and Mark Salzberg, the chairman of the Certified Collectibles. He's the one that did the Nice Gang video game, the one that they just added the privy and everything. And there were a couple things in this video that I wanted to kind of just chit chat about today. It's just general loose topic, but I just wanted to kind of chit chat it because yesterday's topic was how do we do things to prevent the numismatic hobby from like imploding in itself, like what happened with stamps. And I just see some things here that go, is it really about the collector or is it really about lining pockets? Um, and so I wanted to kind of have this. So has anybody heard what the next privy is?
Yeah, the eagle flying,
Yeah,
eagle in flight.
yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what it looks like. Obviously, the one that I put in the thumbnail is my own generated version of it. It's not that particular one. I don't know what the one's going to look like. Um, but there's going to be 500,000, just like the Star Privy. It's going to be released April 25. Um, but there was something in the discussion, and I downloaded the transcript, and I wanted to make sure that I heard this correctly. And one of the things was like conversation that he was having with the U.S. Mint. It was like, we're going to come down to D.C. We're going to have this discussion. His son Adam was with him, and he was saying, Ventress is a neat lady. They just did the 1794 medal. They just released that. They sold out, which they didn't sell out, by the way. If you look at the population sell reports, there's only about 48, 49,000 of them that have been sold. Where are the other ones? That's another
Well,
question.
their numbers don't jive.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't match up. Um, and so looking at that, right? So there's kind of like, well, did they really sell out? Did they not? Are they going to release them again? Do a special? Hey, we found a few more. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Um, but uh, when you're looking at this and you're listening to the conversation, one thing that really kind of sparked my interest in this was something that his son Adam said, and it was I'm pulling this up, so I want to make sure I repeat this correctly. He's like, you just don't really get it. He said, if you look at other places, people want every one of something. The American Silver Eagle is one of the top collected coins in the world. And people are going to want to collect every iteration of one. You guys are missing out. Even with us, we know that there's something. But if you have something tied to a game, that's just money in your pocket. And you can do something tricky, like call it, and I use the word tricky, they didn't, a double eagle, right? And they said that initially the mint wasn't very happy about it, but then they decided to warm up to it. So again, they're already kind of playing the name game on this, and what kind of confusion, what kind of frustration is that potentially going to cause? So I have some issues with this. Um, do you think, and the conversation I want to have, and I want you guys to be putting this information in chat, but the conversation that I want to have today is, do you think this stuff is actually good for the hobby? Do you think that this is going to bring collectors in, or do you think this is going to be just money grabs? People who are looking to do quick turnovers, um, find the item, get it, sell it, make some profit, and then move on. Um, so, what do you guys think?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what and first of all, kids aren't going to be buying this, so they're not targeting kids. I don't care what they say. Yeah, the young kids are not going to be buying these things, and they're not going to be like, yeah, it's just silly. I don't know. They struck them on regular bullion coins. So as far as like ASC, like true ASC collectors, the mint didn't even offer them for sale to those people. So I don't think they're even going to count these as like something that they need for to complete their ASE collections because they're just bullion coins. That's all they are. They're
Right.
bullion coins with a silly little thing that everybody knows was only done as a money grab. You can look at the premiums attached to them and see that plain as day right in front of your face. Um, I mean, yeah, so it's definitely a money grab. The grading companies are in on it. They made special labels for them. Um, if the U.S. Mint and all these people are truly interested in bringing in a different, a younger generation, then they need to do something that is free for the younger generation that will pull them in, get them interested, just like they did with the W quarters. That families were looking through coins together when the W quarters were out. The Great American Coin Hunts, they do that every year. They need to do more advertising about it and stuff like that. But anything like this is just a money grab. It's just people lining their pockets. PCGS and NGC have gone corporate. Um, which is why you see these packs.
Right.
You know, yeah, it's that's all it is. It's just a download our game and whatever else. Just like with the DC comic crap that they're doing. That's been done for years. Do something that is free, that people that families can look for in their pocket change to get the kids involved.
And there you go. Put a privy mark on a coin that's in
Yep,
pocket change.
yep. It's not about. It has nothing to do with because kid. Anyway, this is just going. Who is probably their the biggest um um consumer, I guess, or audience that is downloading this app? It's people with phones and people who that as far as is earning these coins, they're gonna get these coins, and these coins are not even free, is my understanding. They just get a certain code that gives them a discount to buy them. So it's not like you're
Beautiful.
winning these coins. That's my understanding, is that if you get to a certain level in the game, they email you a code for a discounted price on them. I'd
Yeah,
like
I
to
haven't
know
seen
how
anything where you get. Um,
all things silver and Eunice both they got to a certain level and they got an email from the gaming thing with a code that gave them a discounted price to purchase the coin.
That's crazy. Now, what was the price, or didn't they say?
I think it was like $49.99 or something like that,
yeah,
which you
like
can still
$20 off the standard
yeah, it
price.
was like $20 off,
One of the things that
which is still
what
too high for an ASE bullion coin.
well, one of the things that I'm looking at doing or looking at trying to find on this is are they trying to do this where so if you've done gaming before and my son has done like Minecraft and you guys know what Steam is and you see all these other platforms where you can buy these packs, right? You can buy these upgrades and these modules and do all these different things. Is this going to be a way in which they're kind of moving to a new realm? So are they actually looking at doing things which is both in and out of games? So are they trying to do it to where you have the because this guy's been part of the chairman of the collectibles group for however many years. American Numismatics Association has given him awards for the stuff that he does for the Collectible Society. They did a big write up on Mark Salzberg. So this guy is very understanding of collectible markets and what happens. Are they looking at doing kind of a play where the coin is a piece? So maybe there's something that comes with it that you can enter back in, or maybe if you purchase it, it adds a new skin or it adds a new element to this particular game. I'm really interested to find out. I don't want to play it because it just seems like this game is a money grab, which many of them are. I used to play a match 3 RPG, and it was just constant money grab. They were
You can
always
play
looking
for
and looking
free.
and looking to get money.
Yeah, you sure
Yeah,
can, but you can't win for free.
in my head, that just makes people want to play that game more. It doesn't make them want to collect coins.
But that's my point. All
Well,
I
look
think
at
this
Canada.
is it's just creative marketing for the game. They're utilizing the coin
Right.
because what it does is it gives them a niche that they may not have been. People who collect coins may not have looked at this particular thing before. They may not been a gamer. They may not have checked that. It just opens the door for another niche to sneak in to that gaming realm. And so they're hoping they can get a few people in the collecting world, the numismatic world, to jump on board with this. I think it's just creative marketing. I think this guy really understands the collectible markets and what people will look for. Again, we talked about the Oregon uh, commemorative, right? And it was the power of the collector, the power of that group, year after
Yeah.
year after year after year for 8 years, and then add another mint, and then do some fancy marketing and manipulate people to think that that Denver mint mark is going to be ultra super rare. And now you can't just have one; you have to have the other. Oh, you can't just have the
But it is
star; now
ultra
you have to
super
have the
rare.
eagle.
I mean, there's 3,000 of them made. So, but look at what Canada's doing. They make a commemorative coin. Let's say a commemorative loonie. They'll make 250,000 that are colorized in the back. So they're doing like the W quarters, except they're
Hmm.
in people. They search the coins. The families get together.
UK
Oh,
does that too.
yeah, absolutely.
The
There's
UK
a
does
lot
that.
of
They put all
things.
those Harry Potter things out and all the what's the bear oh my gosh, the bear that has a hat and a suitcase and come on, help me out.
Coddington or
Um
Paddington?
yes, Paddington Bear. It's all the Paddington Bear. Yeah,
Yeah.
Beatrix Potter. Um
But yeah, there's so much things that they could do that don't take money, that would generate money uh, from the collectible business. I mean, that guy should know best. I mean, look at the state quarters. How much money third-party companies made on state quarters,
Oh yeah, yeah.
making
The
boards,
books and the
making
collections and
holders.
well,
oh yeah.
I think that people are either gamers or they're not gamers. I don't think you're going to turn coin collectors into gamers.
No, but
No,
I
but
mean,
you'll
I
get
just
a
don't
few
think that that's.
collectors that because they're interested in collecting sets of things, and they have to be completionists, right? And so we've
I
talked
don't
about.
think so.
I
I,
do,
I
I do. I think
not the way they're doing it. Like especially like bullion. They did these with bullion. Nobody gives a crap. Who who gives who? Okay, if there are any ASC collectors out there, like who collect like true ASC collectors.
YouTube
Do
me.
you have to have one of the bullion strikes every year too? Or do
probably
you or do you collect like the collectible ASCs?
the thing that amazes me about ASEs is they grade tens of thousands of them, and they all sell, and I never see anybody buy any of them. Who's buying
Mhm.
them? I don't know who buys them all. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
almost
know. I know
every
a lot
big
of.
dealer does a monster box and gets a monster box graded
Mhm.
every year,
Mhm.
and that's 500 coins. And so you're talking a lot of coins being run through the graders.
But you look at the Dansko books and stuff like that, they don't have a spot for just the regular bullion ASCs every year.
I'm wondering how many they do grade. PCGS.
No,
Yeah,
but
home
they do.
shopping.
So I think Chuck was the one talking about this, if I remember correctly. That if you actually put like if you started everything was collectible, you'd have books that were, 4,000 pages thick, in order to collect every variety and every subset of every
Oh,
coin,
absolutely.
right? Again, you look at, the Mercury dimes. Well, they put the 42 over one in there. What's the likelihood that most collectors are going to have that piece?
I'm
Um,
not that's completely separate from what I'm talking about
I
though.
understand, but the point is that it,
Especially when the US Mint is not even offering them to the general public. That
I understand, but the
it to me
premise is the same, Paula. And the premise is there are people out there who are completionists. And this is a ploy, in my opinion, this is a ploy to target those collectors who are completionists. There are people
no, they
who,
make uncirculated that they make business strike ASCs,
That's
Chuck,
right.
that the
Here's
US
one
Mint
right here.
actually sells. That's
20,
separate. That is separate from the bullion coins that only the bulk dealers can buy.
yeah.
2022 regular strike.
Yes, they
Uh,
make the regular
Morning, Chuck.
strike. That's separate from the
there's
bullion coins.
140,000 been graded that are
Hmm.
69 or 70.
But
That's a
those are
lot.
separate from the bullion coins that the bulk dealers can only buy.
Morning, kid of mine. Yeah,
Chuck,
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, and I'm not talking about the fact that there's differences between them. I'm talking about the purpose for why they're doing this. I think this guy, he really understands the collectible mind. He understands what people look at when they're trying to do this. One of the things, and I'll read you this, and he says and a lot, so it's hard to read the transcript. But it said, he was talking with the mint director of Ventress about a year and a half ago, and he said, "I'm thinking about doing this game," and pitched her conceptually and said, "We're in the midst of this prototype," and they were showing it to her, and she's like, "It's really interesting. We're looking at doing this. We want to do this one particular thing. We want to join with the U.S. Mint and do this. And it was like, okay, I get it. You're a collectible. You understand this stuff. We can do this. We see the U.S. Mint starting to change the utilization of technologies, where technologies are being pulled and utilized through things like
Morning,
uh,
Chuck.
looking at things like the privy mark that just happened with the 230, or and I can't stand that star privy, by the way. I think we talked about that 1,000 times, but um, doing these different things, right? And there's certain things that need to happen in order to get stuff done. And when they were talking about this particular thing, they were like, you've got to be careful when you're producing stuff and you're talking about this and including the mint. You don't want people dropping the F bombs and doing stuff like that. You're talking about younger populations. You're trying to convince the kids to go to their parents to buy this game. They are targeting kids. They're targeting younger kids with this, and they're saying, hey, you can get this pack, you can get this item. And again, going back down low, and again, if you want to watch this thing, it's in the description down below. It's about 15 minutes or so. Um, and around the last 3 minutes, 5 minutes is where a lot of the details start to come out about his conversation with Ventress Gibson. And again, his son was the one who basically stated, "Yeah, but Ventress, you're missing the mark. Are completion. People have to collect every iteration of a silver eagle. Now, not everybody does that, but even this kid knows that if you're in the game and you're collecting these items, you need to collect all of these items to complete a journey or a task. If they're making this as part of the game where you get to a certain point, you have to complete these missions to do this. It's working on that completionist. Now, it may not be the completionist for the collector, but you're still working on the completionist mentality, and they're utilizing that against them. And so
But
what
they're
I'm
they're
afraid of,
missing the mark though, Frostbite. That's my point. Is by not offering these to the true collectors through the US Mint, they're making a huge mistake because
agree, 100% agree. Yeah,
they're just gonna piss off their bread and butter.
yep. And again, this is where it's not about the collector. People are like, "Oh, this is a collectible coin." It's not
Oh, it's
about
a
the
money
collector.
grab.
This is a money grab. They are utilizing the
Hmm.
collectors to sneak into a niche um, that, again, utilizing collectors, and he knows the minds of the collector. He understands this. This guy's done this for a number of years, and as I stated before, he's received awards from the American Numismatic Association for his work in collections and things of that nature. So again, when you look at this, you're actually um, seeing him utilize his knowledge and say, look, there's a whole nother venue here in which you can get people to buy these pieces, but it's not good. They're not looking at building numismatists. They're not looking at creating a better world for the hobby. They're looking at ways in which they can kind of tie people into collecting a series of something that is, in my opinion, mediocre. I'd be really
Okay, let
interested
me
to
ask
see what the
you a
Eagle Privy
question.
looks like.
Does he talk about why he didn't go after Xbox or PlayStation or one of like the really well-known gaming people instead of this company that nobody has ever heard of? This
No,
gaming company that nobody has ever heard of. Why did they go after that? If they truly wanted to get the kids involved, why didn't they do it as something through
What
Fortnite or something
wasn't
like
there
that that they
something that was said that the owner of the company was actually something to do with one of the grading companies and was a coin collector?
well,
Exactly.
but no. Okay, so Mark Salzberg, who is again a very powerful and influential, right? He's the one that actually went to the Mint. The Mint didn't approach them. He's the one that went to the Mint, met with them, told them what they were doing, gave them the stuff. They've been working on this for over a year and a half. He's the one that went to them. Talked. He's an influencer, and he's like, and so I'll read you this portion of this as well. Says and again, it's going to sound a little bit whatever because it's looping in another portion of the conversation. But they were saying it's a really cool variety. It's never been done on a Bulliu issue coin. So I think there was something crazy about being able to do this and get them to do this within 3 or 4 months. I also reached out to the CEO of Atlantic Records as an advisor, a partner in the game, who is also excited to do this. We utilized the newest thing that we are going to go with the game is the big influencer, and he knows and you know that the music behind whatever it is that's going to go in is going to be big. They're going to pull that up. They pulled up the privy mark and they showed this. And they showed how they doing this, and it's all marketing. So they've got these big influencers all coming together, talking about the dramatic game, talking about the music behind it. Like all they're doing is it's just pure marketing. And he talked about this again. Go watch the thing. It's not just my
You know
words.
what's funny though is that my grandson and his friends, they're all like big gamers. I haven't heard them mention this one time. So where is the marketing for this? Like where is this being, like how are they getting this information to the kids?
Oh, I'm sure there's other. I don't know their marketing plan. I
How?
haven't seen their marketing plan, but I can tell you this: as a person who used to play Match 3 RPGs, and I used to play them a lot, there were new games that rolled out all the time.
This is a mobile game app.
Yes, I
Yeah,
understand.
and
But
the
there are
company,
games that roll out all the time. There are always new games that are popping in and popping up.
one of
And
the founders of the company is Mark Salzberg. He's owns part of the gaming company.
yes, I know. That's what I said.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I thought you said that he was the one speaking on behalf for them.
No, he's the
He
owner. He's
wasn't
the operator.
involved.
He's the creator. He's
Yeah.
the creator. He's the one who he's the one that has went through all of this. He's the one that sat down with the mint. He's the one that got Atlantic Records involved. He's the one. He's utilizing his understanding of the collectible market.
Other than YouTube, has anybody heard about it anywhere else?
You'd have to ask people in
Other
the
than
gaming
like YouTube
community
and
because
Facebook, has anybody heard
I
about
don't
this
even follow
anywhere
it.
else? I'm just curious about that. Like, how are they, if they are truly targeting kids and wanting kids to come into numismatics, come into the hobby? I think that there was an article in Coin World, like, or Coin Week, one of those, a small little article about it. But other than that, like, how are they getting? What is their marketing strategy for getting this out to kids? I'm not going to tell my grandson about it because I think it's garbage. But and then he's just going to hit my son and daughter-in-law up in a month to, hey, I need $49.99 so I can get this.
Right. Well, one of the things that kind of comes from this, and again, the privy mark was just a catalyst for getting the advertising out to people about the game. So again, it's just marketing. It's just another way to get people to go to their product. It's not about the collectors. They're just
Right.
they're just
That's my
utilizing
problem.
they're just utilizing the hobby. They're utilizing bullion as a mechanism. Now again, they've got the record companies, they've got other people engaged, they've got other people involved. But this is not about the collector. They're just utilizing the collector to try to find people to go check out the game. And it's just
You
marketing.
know that there are other coins being rewarded, right?
Yes, I
There's
see
there's
that.
some
I
beautiful
have
new
read about
stuff.
that, but
Yeah, it's good stuff.
yeah,
One of
but
250. I don't know who mints it. It doesn't. It's not U.S. mint stuff.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm getting there
But
too, because one thing that was said towards the end of this conversation is that they are trying to take this global. So they are working with the Canadian Mint, they're working with the Royal Mint, they're working with the Perth Mint, they're working with Nui, they're working with a whole bunch of other people to try and engage local mints and things of that nature to do stuff locally for those areas to try to build interest in it. Because again, they're trying to get into a niche to get people who are collectors of those particular coins and those varieties, the bullion, the collectible bullion, to come and see and come and view the game. So again, watch that. Again, the link is in the description down below.
I
But
won't be.
again, this is
Now, I
it's
wonder.
just a money grab. It's a marketing at the
Yeah, I
expense
got
of
no
you as the
interest
That's
customer.
what
in
I'm
it.
saying. They're not giving. It says they're marketing it as we're going to give you these coins, but they're just selling
Nope.
them to you as a discount. So I wonder what they're actually making
Exactly.
off the coin.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not like
It's interesting. I'll watch it.
I'm not interested in it.
No, I'm not.
I'm not
I'm not interested in the game. I'm interested in seeing what they do because some of those collectible coins, the 1 in 250s, uh, those have potential to be worth a lot of money. But how do you get them? It sounds to me that you have to be in the top 250 players each year to get them.
Yep, you have to play that
So
game continuously.
this is something that
Get your
so
kids out and make them touch grass.
Well, how many kids? Here's my
Get them
thing
off
about this.
of the social. Get them off of the
How
game.
many of the top 250 players are going to want to spend $79 on a collectible?
And those are probably going to be adults anyway, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Coach DC Comics was the first one to have this mint partnership with an entity prior to the privy coming out. So DC Comics was the first major one that the mint did this with.
And it's been done.
Yeah. Eric, can you pull up the thing you're talking about the various coins so that people can see what you're talking about?
I want to see them do
Yep. Let
something
me go
that's going to
back.
bring
I gotta
kids
find
into
it
the
again.
hobby. I think it's absolutely
Hey,
ridiculous that the
Chris,
U.S. Mint.
5K sent you. Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you coming in.
Trying to figure out how to play the game on the left
Five
corner of the
5K
screen.
Grenade is one of my
Chat.
he's one of my the slot buddies that I have.
Oh,
So
nice.
neat guy. A lot of fun. Him and Slot Crush and Max Slots and lots of fun.
It's funny because first time I met Frostbyte, we went to a casino. He's like, I don't gamble. I don't gamble.
And he
I'll
wins
do just
$2,500 because he did, right?
well. The first
That's
time
usually how it
he
works.
won $200 because like he said, well, I put. You know what happened? We walked in. First machine I saw, I put $20 in, and that
Hit it for
you know that
300.
Yeah.
I thought it was two, but
Nope,
yeah,
300. I hit
300.
it. I hit 300 and 350.
That's how they get people to become gamblers. They
Yep.
know
And
they
then I
get the
just
look
put
on
my
their
money
face at
away and I bought coins with it. I bought gold with it.
Yeah, he
what do they
did.
call it? The scanner that scans your face looking for people. They have that program to like find people that are non-gamblers, and there's like, yeah, hit it, let them hit, put that 20 in.
You will not see me, by the way, you guys, talking about this anymore other than this on here. I refuse to advertise for these people or make it a thing. I think it's absolutely asinine that the US Mint has once again done something that completely pushes out Joe average collector.
So I'm just
And
curious of what they were going to charge for one of these 1 of 250. Those are the at the end of the year. Those are the top 5.
I don't
You know what
care.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know.
minted in
It's not
3
gonna.
unique
I have not
metals.
a chance. I have not a chance
So
of getting
it,
one because
it
I will
sounds
never
like
play that game. So,
it says 3 unique metals. What are the metals? It doesn't say what metals they are. Is it going to be
mm-mm.
silver, gold, and platinum?
Yeah,
It's going to be.
RLC, that is correct. This is the first video game for this company. This is their debut game.
Yep.
They are marketing it hard. Now they've done a lot. The game contains a lot of AI. There's a lot of interesting stuff that happens within this game. I don't. I will play games on occasion, but I got away from them a few years ago. But if you look at my email, which is Frostgiantsfrostbyte, Frost Giants was the team that I used to play the Match 3 RPG with. And we talk about being top in the world. There were a number of times, and I've got images of it still, where I was the number one player in the world for, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. The longest I was ever the top player in the world was about a day and a half. And the problem with that is as the games grow, as more and more people play it, it costs you more and more and more and more and more money. And so, in order to buy the nicer characters or buy the upgrades or to get them to where they go through
Good weapons.
their advancement stages or whatever the particular one is for that. And so there's a lot of those things that happen in this particular one. This is where my question is: are these going to be rewards, or are they going to be tied to, you're going to have to have, is it top five overall or is it top five at the end of the year? How are they going to manage that? How are they going to mitigate that? Because ultimately, what this is going to be is it's going to be about the people with money who can play the game the
Yep.
most, um, win this, right? And I can introduce you. It actually would be a lot of fun.
It's going to
To
be about who can program a bot to play this for them 24/7.
Now, usually the bots are picked up and they usually get deleted.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of these games don't allow you to use bots. Any kind of detection like that it immediately deactivates your game and removes that. They don't allow that stuff. Those are lifetime ban type items, so that's usually not something that people have to worry about. Any kind of cheat code and some of that stuff in some of these games. Now, some games allow you to build cheat codes and stuff like that in them, but there are certain ones that absolutely do not. They are automatic terminations. They will, doesn't matter how strong your account is, they will automatically shut you down, lifetime bans. So a lot of places don't allow for that stuff to happen. I don't know what the situation is on this, but listening to the general conversation regarding this particular item, I would lay wager that they're going to fall in lines with that. It's going to be uh, skill. You're not going to be allowed to use. There's a lot of AI components to it. Um, Even they said it's heavy on the AI generation. But again, I don't think that they're going to allow that kind of manipulation in the game. Now, it all goes without being said that I will never be playing this game. It's not of interest to me. I wanted to find out because as I was reading this, and again, the person who sent me this um, article and showed me that this video was here, they were like, "Well, the Eagle Privy's there," and I was like, "Well, we haven't heard. Well, I mean, we heard that there was going to be an Eagle Privy, but I don't really know what else is there." It's like, well, here's the interview.
I
Go
don't know
watch
why
it.
they would put it in a different place than they did the star. I don't know why
Yeah, I
they
would
wouldn't
hope
be
that they would put it
consistent.
where I put it.
But that's everybody thought was hoping that's where they put the star too, and they
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, and
So I don't
clearly
know why they
that
wouldn't
didn't
continue
happen.
in the same spot with the privy in the
Yeah,
same spot.
clearly that didn't happen. But
Yeah.
but there was another thing. Getting away from this for a minute, there was another thing that he said that was like, oh, and I don't know if he meant to say this or not, but he was talking about, um, and I'll get to the whole thing where he talks about the Spanish Mint and the um, partnering with NGC on um, getting the other mints engaged. Like he's going to the grading companies, he's really going out there. But he was like, I was talking with Ventress, who's a great person. She really understands that there's a whole avenue that the U.S. Mint has never targeted before. And the privies now we're going to be doing 500 star, 500 eagle, but they just did the successful completion of the 94. He said 94. It's the 1794 medals. They sold out and they're getting ready to do the gold ones. She's going to be signing the certificates for those COAs. They're going to be fantastic and they're going to be just gorgeous. She's really open minded. She's just dropping into this. She said the hard part is navigating Congress and the system, but she gets to make decisions regarding some of the stuff because it's not there are certain elements on a coin that have to be there. So the hint was that there's not going to be a privy on the gold, but that she's going to be signing the certificates on some of these gold coins as
Well,
well.
they have on their thing on one of the articles at the very bottom. If you scroll the bottom, it says a select few of these will be auctioned to the public. So I am not sure what that means. Like that's the Easter egg that I'm waiting to find out what it is. A
Yeah.
select few will be auctioned to the public. So I don't understand how the U.S. Mint's going to be doing an auction. But Mike from Mid America says that they are releasing these to the public
Papa
in
York, that's
Baltimore, I
hilarious.
think, where
Sorry. Papa York's like, I prefer spearmint over the U.S. Mint.
I don't know. I think that until the U.S. Mint starts actually talking to real live collectors, we're going to continue to see crap like this. It's just going corporate. They're catering
Well, like
to
anything else,
you know,
if somebody's willing to pay them money, I'm sure they're willing to
yep,
listen.
yep.
It really has nothing to do with the collectors. Like the auction
Nope.
thing, I'll bet you all about the auction thing. They're going to auction some of these gold coins. You said some of the gold are going to have privy marks.
No, I don't think so.
They're going to auction something special.
Something signed
That way they
COAs
get the
or
money
something.
because they probably looked at this flowing hair and was like, hey, how these
Hmm.
coins shouldn't, these people are making money off of it. We should be making that money.
Congrats, Chuck.
Businesses have a tendency to do that. They don't want other people to make money. They just want to make money.
Yeah, or they're gonna have like dual holder, like a silver and a gold and a dual holder or something. I don't know. I'm waiting to see what they're talking about because if like I've never seen the U.S. Mint auction anything, so and then once again, they're going to be pushing 99% of their customers to the side for a select few. So I don't know.
Yeah, so
Well,
Coach,
that's
that's
kind of
another
how
question.
we work here.
Mhm. It's not
Why didn't
depending
they
on
seal the metals? Why didn't they wrap them in plastic and seal them?
what did I win? What did Chuck win?
I've got a really cool casino token that I'm going to send you, copper coins.
CCAC, they don't have a collector on the board right now. Matter of fact, they are looking to employ one. I think, isn't that right, Paula?
Yes. They have an open position, but you know, that's also going to be full of
Yeah, of 11 people saying, nah, I don't think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
That's probably why the last one left.
Well, he
One
was very
looking at
adamant that
photos from the stuff.
whatever the U.S. Mint drops as far as the gold coin goes for this flowing air, he's going to be buying it. He says he thinks they're gorgeous, and he really likes the fact that Ventress is open-minded. She's dropping into this, even though it's hard to navigate with Congress and the system, but she's allowing, um,
They
and
are,
this
Chuck.
system. So I
It's
wanted
open
to
right
be a
now.
resource to her. And so in the meeting, she says, "What do you think? What do you know? We'll do this. Are you okay with this?" So again, he's selling himself as kind of a mentor for collectibles to her. Um, again,
He's
I see
just
this as, we talk about
yeah,
Burby, and we've talked about some of the other people who have the authority, who have the ear
be
of the people in
Maxwell.
charge. It's amazing what you can do when you have the right pool. So
Well, I'm gonna go against the grain and um be the outcast here and say that I am sure Ventress Gibson is a delightful woman and I've heard great things about how nice she is and everything, but I am not impressed. I am yet to be impressed by anything that she has done for us the collector.
You're not alone. I'm unimpressed. I don't
People
think she's
talk,
terrible for the job, but she hasn't done anything to impress me either. She hasn't done
mm-mm.
anything to uh, push me in the opposite direction. She just status quo as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. She's just doing a job. Um,
Chuck, I'd have to
in
send a nickel
fact,
back to him. I'm allergic to nickels. Just
many
funny.
of the things that she has done has pushed the collector to the side, just like this.
I
Um,
don't think you can blame her for that. I mean, that's been
but
happening
she,
constantly. The only time they actually gave a shit about the collector was when they put the W quarters out, and actually
yep.
the W dime in '90s is at '96.
Hmm.
They've done little things that people like. Then there's a double W nickel. They've done a couple things like with mint sets, and that was actually a good idea to try to make mint sets sell.
The
But
1995 double die.
well, yeah, There's, depending on what story you read, there's good stories about that, whether they're true or not. That
Right?
those were manufactured within the mint to show how they were done, or something like that.
Something. Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, Chuck. But like I say, there's so many easy things that every other mint is doing to get people to look through their change. With Canada with the colorized coins, I think that's a great idea.
Oh, Nick
They have a huge opportunity in 2026 to do something special.
Nick
Let's see if
Molinar,
they
is
do
he in
it.
the stream?
Who?
Nick Molnar. If Nick Molnar's in the stream, I actually go and watch him. You even look at
Tadpole Hunter's another one.
what's his name? Oh, good lord, our excited buddy.
Coin Junkie.
Coin Junkie.
You guys
Thank you.
go watch Christopher Collects from the UK. He's great too. I like
Yeah,
him a lot.
there's so many. The numismatist, the numismaticist. Sorry, Paul.
Numismaticist.
The numismaticist. Always have to say that.
Don't get me going.
But the numismaniac, he's another one that likes to do this kind of stuff and talk about do trivia and stuff like that. But there's a lot of cool things that happen with other coins, other mints that are just amazing. I look at the quality of some of the stuff coming out of Perth or Nui. Now, granted, a lot of that stuff is collectible bullion, right? But there's so many cool things that can be done. We talked about this a number of times when they first dropped the Liberty Bell privy, right? Why would they go with just the date and not do something like have that Liberty Bell privy on 1 million or maybe even 250,000 coins and do that search like Paul has been talking about in the past, like they did with the W quarters or the V75, right? Do something, unannounce it, just announce it in like when is Coin
Innovation
Week?
Dollars. That would be
Do
perfect.
it on the nickels, and people will pull those nickels out of circulation.
And then totally cut dollar bills out.
If you want to get some of those nickels out of circulation, and put them up, do something on the nickels.
Well, we're making these innovation dollars. You want people, and that's always been the goal. Is it costs a lot of money to make $1 bills?
Yeah, but those don't go into general circulation.
But they were supposed to. The reason that they were supposed to replace the $1 bill back in the 80s.
I know, but
it just people wouldn't embrace it. Canada has the perfect solution for it. You totally get rid of them, and you don't give them a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make the coin, and then you put colorized on the back. Because some of the new 2020, the Florida and Michigan coins look great. The options for the reverses, they're awesome looking. There's some great artwork. If they colorized one of those, did 250 colorized coins, hell, you'd have kids running for those things.
Well, they also do that, but they don't run the massive billion mintages either. So they do smaller runs of those, and they do, 250,000 non-colorized, and then 250,000 or 25,000 colorized.
You can thank the vending machine companies for those.
And so I really like, and again, we look at, I watch a number of people. Found It Buried. You guys know Found It Buried, Paula.
I know George.
Nick Molnar, and George is nuts, right? But looking at some of these and looking at the various toonies and loonies and some of the other things that they have, and looking through and doing the coin searches where they're looking through those, and you see a colorized V, or you see the one that was the Canadian hockey team where they had the
glow in the dark
flag. Say again.
They did the glow in the dark. They had a glow in the dark coin.
They have a couple of them. Amazing. They have the insulin one. The insulin toonie is really cool. I think that's one of them that was glow in the dark. There were so many cool ones. They had the airplane, the thing that they did with the dime, where they did the blue nose, where they actually made the water blue. That's so many cool opportunities. Is just, we have the opportunity, if we'll just take note and go, what is it that the collectors want to do? What's really big in the coin collecting hobby right now? People enjoy doing coin collection. People enjoy looking through. You go online, you look at the dollar searches or the $half searches, you look at the penny searches, you look at quarter, dime searches. If you had the colorized coins or you had something like that, there would be more of an engagement in the collectible realm. Now, granted, many people would be pulling them out of circulation, but
Sure, and they
again,
would try to be getting $10, and they would get $10 for them. There would be people buy. Look at the W
right,
quarters. What's it? Still $20 if they're uncirculated.
right. But this market grab of throwing a privy on a bullion coin and not including, and again, Paula, you said this probably 1,000 times, which is the bread and butter of the mint, which is the collector.
Hmm.
Yes, granted, their job is to get money out there and not to lose money. Bottom line, that is their legal requirement, is to not lose money.
So
Um,
can I just point something out real quick?
yeah,
A few years ago, the US Mint actually did something that was super popular with kids. And I'm sure it probably brought a lot of kids into the hobby. And it was something that had to be purchased, but it became really popular and it sold out. It was this rocket ship thing that had a quarter, I think, in it, and I can't remember what else it had. It might have even been like a whole like mint set in this rocket ship thing. But kids loved that. You could go. I used to. So you could go to shows and ask every single dealer in there if they had one, and you'd be lucky if you found one because they were so popular. I don't know if they truly are trying to get kids involved. Why aren't they doing something like that? That they,
agree. Yeah,
they
wholeheartedly agree.
I
You know
mean,
who they need to
it's
get
crazy,
involved?
and they've stopped doing even like the congratulations things and stuff too, right? They don't do those anymore.
I don't think so.
They can.
Yeah,
It's
I don't think they've
crazy.
done that for a few years. EMR, how do you prevent what happened with the West Points where it caused the coin shortage? It didn't cause the coin shortage.
It
Um,
didn't.
that's not what caused the coin shortage.
There was never a
There
coin
was
Yeah,
never a coin
shortage.
shortage. It was a logistical thing. The
It was
coins
a
were
yeah,
all backed up
circulation
in the metropolitan
shortage.
areas.
There was never a coin shortage. People just weren't spending. They weren't out. They weren't
Well,
out. They weren't going to businesses and small
that's right. So
businesses.
all the coins
All
went
the
back
small
to the
businesses
hubs.
were closing down. So
Yeah, that's because I had a friend that used to own an armor service in Detroit, and I had talked to him, and he says, "I've got coins in on pallets, not in the vault because
right.
my vault is full."
yeah. And I got a
And
buddy of mine who works for Brinks, and they deliver to banks and large format stores. And he
yeah, he
was
says, "You
like,
go 60 miles from the city,
"There's,
though, there's no
there's,
coins."
there's, there's
And the
no coin
W
shortage."
quarters had there was 2 million of each
Yeah.
design. So 10 million over a 2 year, so 20 million total. That's peanuts compared to compared to the total mintage. That
Oh,
was
it's
just
it's
peanuts.
1% of the total mintage that happened in
Yeah. So
2022.
the W quarter 2019 2020.
Yeah, it was like one less than 1%.
Yeah. So it had nothing to yeah, the W quarters had
That would
nothing
be
to do.
great too. Like Kinemine
Yeah,
says, do
kin of
another
mine.
serial.
That's yeah, it's exactly right. I don't know if you guys, and I remember, and I still remember it to this day, opening a bag of Kellogg's Corn Flakes, Frosted Flakes, excuse me, and pulling out a card that says "You've won." And I opened it up, and on the back of it was a picture of a softball. And all I had to do is I had to fill out this card and put in,
Six
you
box
know,
tops.
3 cents for a stamp or 5 cents for a stamp, whatever the stamp was at that time frame. And they they sent it off, and then they, 8 weeks later, 6 weeks later, whatever, I got my big old softball with Tony the Tiger on it. Um,
Payday did it with a nickel.
yeah. So if you want to get people involved in that regard, those are things. Those are the hunts, right? Those are the things that really get people engaged and looking for stuff. Um, but
Yes,
this
they
this
are. Yes,
grab
they
didn't.
are,
This isn't
Michael.
about collectors. No matter what they say, this isn't about collectors. This is a money grab and a marketing
Yeah.
ploy for them to push the agenda of this game. That's all this is,
Yeah.
and they're doing it at the chagrin of the collector, and using us basically like using the
Michael,
Lord's
it's
name
not
in
just
vain.
the S Mint women's quarters. So the S Mint women's quarters were not minted for circulation. So those are actually like an NIFC. But there are S Mint business strikes that were minted minted for the. So I guess none of them were ever really put out in circulation, right? 2012 to so they were minted from 2012 to present. The S-Mint Business Strikes, and they are a super low mintage coin, but most people could care less about them. You are correct in that.
So why
You
is that?
hardly ever. Why is it that people
They
don't?
haven't been
Because
marketed properly.
it was never really marketed.
There's an easy way. You put
Yep,
10,000 coins in circulation, and everybody will want to buy them from the mint.
yep. Yeah, do they? It's so they already are minting the S-Mint Business Strikes. Put some of those out in circulation.
That's right. There's very simple things they could do that,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it'll cost a little bit of money because you're going to have to put those coins to have them distributed so they're not all in one roll. But they managed with the W coins, and I don't think it was that difficult. They just sent it out to what, 14 different hubs or something like that,
Yeah,
and they got
the
dumped in
closest
and
one to
mixed
me was
in.
Seattle. Yeah. Yep.
So
And
it's
the
something that's,
majority of them were went to Jeep and John and Dodger.
yeah. I mean, could you imagine if they did 10, let's say 100,000, but 100,000 S-Mint coins in circulation, and then have 900,000 of them in rolls available to buy at $60, $70 a roll.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not even putting them into PDS sets, just selling the
Yeah.
S-Mint rolls. Hey, we've got 1,500 of these rolls, one per household.
I get the three roll set of the women's quarters from the very beginning. I've been getting the 3 roll set just because I want those S-Mint rolls. That's it. The other ones I could care less, but
But like,
uh,
there's so many things.
yeah.
But it seems like they're going towards the corporate greed end of things instead of the end user end of things.
They are, and that's
Yeah.
why when you hear me talking about like I will say over and over and over, this hobby, you get to collect what you like.
That's right.
It is your hobby. You get, if you want the star privy, if you,
If
oh,
you want
bye,
to collect,
Chuck.
we said this
I wish
yesterday.
you would have joined us today.
See you, Chuck.
Um,
Have a good
Yeah,
day,
if
I
you
wish
sir.
want
you
to
would have
collect
joined us.
parking lot coins, collect parking lot coins.
Yeah, collect what you like. You want these star privies, you do you.
$100 billings gonna
The
be
hundred
But
dollar
released.
bills.
when I
$100
see
bill.
things like the star privy, the first thing that comes to my head is that collectors are, especially new collectors, are this is a marketing ploy, and they're once again going to be taken advantage of. They're going to be spending their money on something that over time will not hold its value. And it I know it's none of my business how you spend your money, but as someone who likes to hold themselves up as a kind of an educator in the hobby, I do my best. I have a responsibility to inform about everything, including what I think is a bad way for you to spend your money. But it's your money. You spend it how you want. You make this hobby. Whatever keeps you in the hobby and keeps you interested is ultimately my 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 goal. Um, but you have to be aware.
Well, the $100 redesign is not. It's not that much difference. It's a blue anti counterfeit streak.
$100 bill is gonna be redesigned. Well, I don't I don't pay any attention. I would not even know.
Yeah, it's got a little gold. I
I
don't
don't
know what.
handle a whole lot of $100 bills, first of all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you hear about this, and I was instantly thinking
Oh, yeah,
about,
sure.
about 6, 7 years ago, they were going to remove Andrew Jackson from the $20 bill because he was cruel to Indians or something like that. In
Weren't they talking about putting Harriet Tubman
They
on for a
were,
while too?
they were
But she got 7 different coins.
She
coins,
got 7 different coins.
and I don't know why they kept Andrew Jackson on there. I mean, maybe it's because he was the last president to actually pay the debt off.
Maybe.
So,
Maybe.
and
We
now,
were
hell,
on track for that. We were on track for that.
well, hell, we haven't, that's been a fantasy since probably 1970 now.
Yeah,
The actual
you and me
ability
too,
to do
Yankee.
that.
I'm not too worried about the design of the bills.
And I
No.
don't either. I don't collect bills. I mean, I like them. Uh, I understand what people do with them, but like I say, they always push the dollar coins because coins last longer. The U.S. Treasury, it's like pennies. It doesn't pay to make pennies because they cost more than a penny to make.
Yeah, but
Dollar bills.
at what point, Eric, they decided at some point to stop circulating them, but they continued to make them.
It's because nobody was using them. The original plan was, matter of fact, I
So why
went
continue to make them?
I went to the post
The
office
vending machines.
a week ago
Legal
in Port
requirement.
Charlotte, which is not the regular
Yeah.
post office I go to. And the guy in front of me paid with a $20 bill and got $8 coins back in change. And he asked for dollar bills, and the lady said they don't have dollar bills there. So that post office is still doing what they were doing in like 2000 when the Sacagawea dollar came.
Most vending machines give dollar coins
In the post office they
back.
do, and that was they were supposed to phase out dollar bills because dollar bills cost way more than dollar coins cost.
Yeah.
And but you can't convince the public. What would happen if they said we're going to quit making $1 bills? You know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to go to the bank and want 5,000 $1 bills.
Chuck, you should come up and talk with us.
Yeah, you have
Um,
the email last time. It's the same link. If you want to come up, feel free.
You know
So
what you guys can do to get if you have if you have young children or grandchildren, go to your bank, get some rolls of dollar coins, in particular the golden
and
dollars.
here's the thing: you
Anything
can
that's
find
golden.
all of them. You find all
And
the NIFCs, everything, because people buy them and something happens, and then people just take them to the bank.
go to your bank and get those rolls, take them to a creek nearby or something, and bury them and do a little like pirates treasure hunt with your grandkids or something. It does two things. It gets them outside into nature, and it makes them active, and it gets them kind of interested in coins that they've never seen before.
These are blue. The nickel is worth. That's right. The Canadian nickel is worth even more.
Yeah, but not when you factor in the cost of having it.
Well, Canadian nickels are 100% nickel.
I'm talking about the
U.S.
U.S.
nickel
coin.
is only like 40%, isn't it?
But you
Or
have to have them
25%.
refined. You have to have it refined,
Well,
and
that
that
was the
costs
big
more.
thing back when uh, I was buying and selling a lot of coins back in the early 2000s when I had my business doing it. Uh, there was nobody that were refining the nickels, the silver war nickels. They would still buy and sell them in the 40% halves because they had to send them out of the
You're
country
kidding me.
because they required chemicals that were not uh, they were frowned upon using here for the EPA. So I don't know if they've changed that or not. If there's anybody actually in the U.S. that's refining 35 and 40% silver coins.
Look who joined us.
Good morning, sunshine.
Hello.
Good
Hello.
morning, sir.
I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll
Oh,
be right back.
I walk in, everybody else storms out.
They're like, oh,
There,
Chuck's
there
here.
goes
We're going to
Army.
need some coffee.
Sniffing armpits here. I don't stink that bad, Lee.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Um, I've been listening to conversation. Sounds to me like the U.S. Mint probably just isn't getting much of anything right these days. And I haven't really followed any of the goings on the Mint regarding their special programs in probably, I'm going to say 10 years, almost 10 years now. It largely became a thing of I could just see that it was kind of going downhill, and I didn't really have any interest in what they were doing anyway, so I just quit following. And now I see that I haven't missed anything that I would be interested in anyway.
Right.
I don't know.
I think they've tried to do some things, but I don't think that they're I think they forgot who their audience, their target audience is, their primary audience.
I think
Um,
I'm wondering
Again, a
could
lot of
be
times when you're trying to be
cut like
um,
the black thing that
all inclusive, like you're trying to, right, like make everybody happy, you're going to leave out um,
I
the
know. It's
people who are
that's
the
why
bread and
I
butter of
told
this.
Marty last night. I said, well,
Um,
first of all, put the tombstones in the ground is like hard as a rock.
let me let me
She
mute
doesn't
her.
know she's taking over the conversation.
Yeah, I've just muted her. She can come back up in a second, but
She can come back and unmute herself.
yeah, she comes back in
Um,
and this stuff starts moving. I'll turn it back on. But yeah, again, and it's just one of those things that I think I I, I want to be very clear. I don't think the Mint is doing anything wrong. I just think that they need to be reminded who or what are the elements in which are going to help collectors engage in the products that they have.
is there really a nailed down topic for today? Because I'm kind of a little confused.
No.
So there isn't anything specific. Okay, so we go to I'm going to segue just a little bit because we're
Oh,
kind of
sorry.
talking about it, but we're kind of not revitalizing the numismatic hobby for the next generation. Um, I think we really have to focus on what they want to do, what they would have as um, as their main collectible, and in doing that, we also look back a couple of generations and see what used to excite people and why. Were they were they
Yeah.
collecting because they liked the pictures on the coins? Then we need to concentrate on the pictures on the coins. Were they collecting because of investment value for later? Then we need to be concentrating on investment value for later. There's things that we need to see. What was it, a fostering thing where were people fostering the kids into collecting? That's most likely because kids also collected stamps back then.
Yep.
But we need to find what excited people in the 50s, 60s, 70s and figure out whether that same thing works now. And if it doesn't, stop trying it. Do something different. And if this, I don't even know what you guys are talking about with this video game thing, but if that's what excites kids and that's what's going to bring kids into the hobby, then don't poo poo it. Just
Yeah,
embrace
but
it,
they're
let it
not
happen.
giving stuff away. They're making you still buy it. Uh,
Okay, well, I mean that, but that isn't really up to you as to whether or not they enjoy that and they buy that because we're trying to foster a new generation of people. Now, if it's costing them $39 to $59 whatever per unit, then good reason not to do it because kids can't afford that sort of thing.
and that's what we heard, $49. Isn't that what you said, Frostbite?
Okay. Well,
Yeah. So if you reach a
49.99.
certain level, you can get a coupon for maybe $20 off the
But they
standard
also
purchase
have
price of the
them
coin.
slabbed and graded at like 69.99 and up,
80,
depending on the label that
$120.
they have
Yeah,
on it, and it's
they go
ridiculous.
outrageous.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think Chuck. I don't think that they're targeting. I I, I think we have it kind of backwards. So I think they're utilizing the coin collectors as a way in to get more people into playing the game. Because they're like, oh, I've got to play the game in order to do this. I don't think that it's one of those things where they're utilizing the game to say, hey, we can also teach about coins and
Hmm.
get people excited about this. I think it's just the opposite. I think they're utilizing our hobby as an avenue to sell more games. So that's the problem that I have with it. It's not the fact that if this was really targeting something and this was really targeting the youth and they were looking at doing something to benefit and grow people and they really were trying to find things that were collectible items that people really would be interested in and it was about the coin and not so much marketing for the game, I might be able to come alongside of it. Our topic in bringing the Mint into this is the Mint has a lot of opportunities to do things like they did with the W quarter or the V75 or the state quarter program. There's a lot of things that Mint could do to help stimulate. It just seems like they just keep missing the mark and targeting the investment community, targeting the big company to get those big sales, because again, their overall arching legal requirement is not to lose money.
Well, why don't they, if they want to, if they want to marry the gaming world and the coin collecting world, why don't they make a game about coin collecting? I mean, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, why doesn't the U.S. Mint get together with some of these gaming companies and instead of making a DC comic coin, make a video game for kids?
Like Coindozer.
Yeah.
Something like Pokemon Go or something like that,
The
like
power of copper comes back to gaming.
there you go.
Lincoln cent against Jefferson nickel.
Exactly, something. I mean, it like that just seems like a no-brainer. Like if you want gaming people to get involved in coin collecting or coin collecting people to get involved in gaming, make a game about coin collecting. I don't know.
Mm.
There you go, Chuck. Next
I,
project.
I think we're going to find a lot of people in the younger generation that would, I don't know, wouldn't necessarily see that as a fun thing.
No, well, so why not incorporate coins into already established games like Fortnite? Like you have like you know how Disneyland, you go around Disneyland and there's Mickey Mouses hidden all around.
I had no idea. Never been to
Well, there
Disney.
are. There's hidden Mickeys all around Disneyland. Well, do
Okay.
something like that with coins. We have a bunch of, you know, hide coins around in the
Well, I think
games and
we
stuff.
kind of tried that with the whole. I don't remember what it was called, but it was in 2019 or 20. The
Pokemon Go.
the American coin something.
Oh no, that was
The
yeah,
Great
that was
American Coin Hunt. So
yeah.
we
Yeah.
that happens every year. People just don't know about it. Like I think in 2019 it was more advertised because that was the first year of the W quarters, and then they did it again in 2020 for the Great American Coin Hunt. And since then, they haven't really done. It's always kind of been up to collectors and like coin shops and stuff like that to they will throw 2 cent pieces or Indian head cents or something like that into change for people to go find. So it happens every year, I think around May, the Great American Coin Hunt, but nobody knows about it because nobody ever talks about it. And that's another thing that, like,
Yeah,
why isn't that
that would
talked about more?
that would include me. If
And
I had
and
more of
then
an
there and
opportunity to know about something like that, I'd probably spend
yeah,
a couple of rolls of wheat pennies every May.
yeah,
I
it's
don't know
every
anything
year
about it.
it goes on, and people just don't talk about it. Why doesn't the U.S. Mint get more involved in that? And if you really want to bring kids in, I mean, I'm telling you, if I, so I was not, I didn't get, I still have never found a W quarter, but I had more fun watching people, new channels popped up on YouTube. Like there were families involved with their kids looking for those W quarters. It was so much fun to watch people hunt for those and get excited and talk about them. They're still talking about them and still finding them. Um, but I haven't yet to see anything since then that has done more for the hobby and more to bring new people into the hobby and in particular kids than that. Why was that abandoned? Why didn't we continue that like every year? I don't know.
I didn't know about it, so I mean that could be
Well,
the
but
reason
that in
for a lot
lies
of
part
people.
of the problem. You're a pretty big name in the community, and the fact that you don't know about a program that's out there regarding coins, I think that's a fail,
Yeah, that's what I
right?
would say.
And so that's part of the discussion that we're having today. Is there's so many great opportunities, and again, I'm not saying Ventress is doing a good job or she's not. I don't know her. I don't work in that area. I don't know what they do. I can't speak to how good she's doing. There are people like Matt and Mike from the Coin Show podcast that they have the opportunity to talk and interview with her, then they have a better understanding and viewpoint than I can regarding that. I think, in my personal opinion, that she has a great opportunity. She's got people looking at the mint. She has a great opportunity to do something about it. I just wish that she would stop looking at large business and really start looking back at the American people and saying, what is it that we really want? Now, I will say that the video that she put out for the US Mint regarding the flowing hair was actually quite nice. I actually really enjoyed the little 5-minute video that they put out saying, hey, that um, that
It
piece
was an
that
advertisement.
it was an advertisement, but again, hey, we listened to you, and it did come from the things that you
I am a
chose to
watcher.
do that. That was great. That was nice. It was very well done. I'll give them credit for a very nice production piece. Um, but if they listened to us, I would like to go back and see the actual winners of which ones they thought should be the coins. Because I'll lay wager the ones that won aren't the ones that were
Hmm.
chosen.
That's right.
They
The
were
last time I
agenda-based
saw the
items
U.S.
that were
Mint do anything
pre-chosen.
for the collector,
Yep, and it wasn't
sorry.
the collector. They just did this as, hey, you know what? There's a lot of people who complained about this. We need to make sure we have something out there that meets that criteria. So we're going to go ahead and throw this metal out there that meets that criteria. Oh, by the way, let's do something that's a little bit more of a grab, and let's throw this privy on there. Now, I'm not a problem with the privy, and you guys know that I got one.
But
Um,
Frostbite, even with that, they dirtied the water. Even
I no,
even
I'm
with
right there
that, they
with you.
still
I'm right there
found a
with you.
way to
Yeah.
screw it up. They still
I
found a way.
think
The last thing I saw them do for us that truly was for us, I believe. I mean, it benefited them too, but they listened was when they fixed their website. And that was the last thing that I saw them put any effort into that actually was something that everybody was up in arms about. You know, they screwed up the 2021 Morgan dollar and peace dollar thing. They by continuing that on, they should have stopped it at 2021
agree.
and not continued it on.
Yep.
They find a way to screw everything up because they stop listening to the little guy.
That was a business move
Hold
right
on.
there.
It was a business move because
Same
they
kind of
stopped. They
same kind of
Yep,
business move the baseball card companies did by continuing to produce chase sets only and not
yep,
concentrate on their base sets, and then their base sets basically went out of fashion and became kids toys, and they became basically obsolete as far as marketing is
100%.
concerned, and they screwed themselves doing that. And
Yeah,
the mint's really working on the same thing.
yeah, and I get that they're a business, but I mean that is a fact. The U.S. Mint is a business, and I get that. But the collector has always been their bread and butter, and they would do, in my opinion, so much better if they actually focused back on what we want
Okay,
and
well,
listened to us.
this
And
has nothing to do with being a personal dig against you, but I get really tired of hearing people talk about how they have to make profit. They have to profit and profit and profit.
right, I
How
agree.
about paying for what they do,
Mhm.
reducing the overall salaries of their top dogs from $1 million down to something actually digestible, and do business like business used to do business. It wasn't
I
about
agree.
profit back then, it was about sustainability.
Mhm.
And here now, all we care about is how much more money can the board make.
Mhm.
Well, screw that.
Yeah.
Do business like business can be done. That's the way I do it. I'm not necessarily saying I'm perfect, but I don't make a lot of money at doing what I do. I make people happy doing what I do, and I sustain my own bill pay.
Yeah, I agree.
And
If you watch
you know,
these CCAC meetings, they're a joke. They're interesting to a point, but the people that are actually on the board, I don't think half of them even know what they're talking about. And it's a paid position. These are not volunteers. The CCAC is a paid position. It's a government job, and they are quite clearly government employees.
Yeah, but again, now I'll say something on that regard. Um, Having been there in that regard, not everybody who works for the government is evil, foul. There's a lot of
I work for the government. I
there's a
know
lot of
that.
good people who really are just trying to do their job day in and day out, right? So there's a lot of people. Now, there's a lot of politics involved, and a lot of what we're talking about is the politics. The mint is required to be profitable by legislation. It's not just something where the mint director says, oh, well, I don't want to do this. There's a lot of good, solid people, and I have a lot of wonderful friends who are actively employed by the government. They are good hearted people. They have a desire to see things improve and find ways to make life better for people. So, again, when we talk about government, it's important not to um, lock everybody into that same general thing. And again, when we talk about Ventress Gibson, I'm
I
not
didn't
saying
do
all these
that.
problems are her. There are some of these issues that are bigger than her, and she's having to navigate through some of that. My thing is,
Frostbite, at the U.S. Mint, there is nobody bigger than her.
other than the Senate and the House of
And that's
Representatives
only in
and the
certain
people that passed the
circumstances.
legislation on the Coin
That
Act.
is only on in certain instances.
So, but again, there are certain requirements for coins that they have to meet. Now, she has certain levels of power, but she doesn't have ultimate control over everything that happens to the mint.
No, right. I understand that.
So again, she has a boss. Okay. And
Well,
so,
of course she does.
yeah, but now she has to answer for certain things. Now, there are
Everybody does,
things when we
except
look
for
at this,
Chuck.
it's important for people to understand that, yes, she is the pinnacle for this. And as a person in charge, she is the person who makes those decisions. But there are some of those decisions, despite whether she likes them or not, that are going to have to be done just because they are required. For instance, working in the medical field, Paula knows this. There is a thing called the NDAA. It's the National Defense Authorization Act. It is something that mandates what happens in each area. There are things that have to happen, and how much money has to be done, what products need to be done, what they can do, what they can't do, what areas need to be focused on, areas of improvement, targeted focuses, budget constraints, all those things. And so there are things that certain people are bound to. It doesn't mean that they don't want to make a change. It just means that they're bound to the legal requirement in that particular document. So again, I we need. It's not just Ventress Gibson that we need to relay this information to. We need to relay this to our Congress. We need to relay this to representatives. We need to be sending things like letters saying, look, we understand there's a political piece to this. But as a small voice of people who are really interested in collecting these coins and doing some of this stuff, we really need to resort to some of the stuff that Chuck said just a little while ago, which is what made the coins collectible at certain points of time. Really do a study and find out what is it that people really want the coins for. Some people just want, we have stackers and preppers in this group. If you're a stacker and a prepper and you're looking at silver and gold, you're looking for it as a hedge. And what happens if we do the CBDCs and we run into a situation where fiat loses its total value, and you need to have money. Again, we've talked about this. Silver and gold is a great commodity, but skills are going to be way more important once that first happens. So we need to be looking at this from who are the people that can actually make the impact, and we need to be targeting those people. And we do that by reaching out to our representatives. We do that by reaching out and sending letters and talking with Senate, talking with the
Or we
Congress
just
people,
quit
talking
buying
with our
stuff.
local
That's where
legislation.
we really can hurt them.
Say again?
You really want to make an impact, stop buying stuff.
Um,
That's right. No, she's
yeah.
right. I mean, ultimately, that's the best way to get action
Thanks,
is to do
Jonathan.
the opposite of what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Don't think that's the direction you want to go, though.
No,
I'm
I'm just
not going to
saying,
go in that
ultimately,
direction
if
because
you don't like,
I will, as much as I complain about the U.S. Mint, I've written a couple emails and that's about it. I'm a lot of talk and a lot less action, and that's unfortunate. And I need to put my money where my mouth is and start you know, whatever. If I really want to complain about it, I need to start writing stuff. Otherwise, I need to just shut up. But um, I definitely think that there are a lot better ways. I don't believe those numbers for a second. I don't believe them for a second. I think that what they are doing is they are adjusting their numbers to account for returns that they're going to get.
That's probably right. And I think we determined they don't resell returns.
I don't think so.
No,
It
They would
they're
depends
have a
upon
hard
the
time with
purchase.
this,
It depends
especially
upon
because
the reason for return.
they would have a hard time with this, especially because um, people aren't going to buy these without a chance at getting that privy, and all their returns are going to be ones without a privy.
well, they got sued. Like I said, there was that deal with the 1999 Silver State Quarter set that they found a bunch of them, and it was like 2002,
Did you say
2001.
that we're like clad or something?
No, they had milk spots all over them,
Oh, milk spots, yeah.
and so if you didn't open them, they were great. But when people started opening them, they were like, hey. Then they realized that the reason they were there, sitting in there, is they were scrapped. They were supposed to be melted back down.
Yeah. I think they did sell out.
They
I don't,
said, well,
like I said, I don't believe those numbers. I think that they're adjusted for something. I think that they did sell out. What possible? We've just spent an hour and whatever talking about how the U.S. Mint is in it to make money. It's blah 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 blah. What possible motivation do they have for holding back and not selling these out? The fiscal year's almost over. What possible motivation do they have for not selling these out?
I don't know,
I mean,
but it's not
they
the first
Exactly.
sold.
time that they've run mintages of 50, 60, 70, 80, $100,000 coins and only minted or only sold or produced 70% of them.
Well, that doesn't mean that they didn't sell out. Maybe they ran into a production problem. Maybe those new dyes that they laser engraved weren't working out great for them, and some of the product turned out crappy, and they couldn't get more silver planchets, whatever. I mean, I definitely think that they sold out on those. Maybe they didn't get maybe they didn't get the final number of 75,000 that they wanted, that they were able to sell, but I think whatever they produced, I think they sold.
And it would be shocking, if that did happen and 30,000 of these coins were returned. I would be shocked if they ever did something like that again.
Yeah.
They're either going to have it or not have it. They're
Well,
not
I
going to
have
say.
I have the return sheet here,
Hmm.
and it says didn't receive the correct item, changed my mind, duplicate order,
Mhm.
product arrived damage, outer packaging, unacceptable coin packaging quality, and that the description is what about it was bad, right? And then there's a little area where you fill in. What is a resolution? A resolution? Do you want to replace it? Do you want to refund it? Do you want to exchange it for a new item? So there's nothing on here that says, "Hey, if you get one that's fine, you just didn't get what you want. Too bad, so sad."
Yeah,
Um,
changed my mind.
yeah, that's
And every single one of those, the way they shipped them, put a dent in the box and claimed that the outer packaging was damaged. They shipped them in bubble mailers.
yep. Well,
Yeah,
I
there
got
was a
mine
big
in a box.
about that.
One
A
of mine
lot
in
of
a
people
box.
were upset about that.
But none
Yeah,
of them were
most people
shrink
got them
wrapped.
in
None
bubble
of them were
mailers.
protected.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and the bubble mailer didn't go all the way around, by the way. It was only partial.
So, what do you think, Chuck? You're being awfully quiet.
I don't know what to think. This is one of those subjects that I generally don't even speak on because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
This is the
you
second
didn't
time you've
buy
been
it.
on panel where we've had a discussion where you're like,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
have an opinion.
I don't pay attention to the current mint. The what they're
Yeah.
doing. The coins are horrible. The business strike coins are horrible. Their
Yeah.
design ideas are horrible.
Horrible.
So I don't see anything good.
Mm.
So
I
my
had so
mama
much
told
hope,
me if you got nothing good to say nothing at all.
or just come sit next to Paula.
Well, if I
Um,
had that to do,
I
there'd
had
be a
so much
very
hopes for
dull
this flowing
conversation today.
Oh,
I
I
had a
prefer
lot of
talk
hope,
about like dice data or something. I prefer talk about
right?
something that's actually educational.
Well, Chuck, I think next week the conversation that you and I had regarding the 26S, is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
I don't remember the conversation.
Talking about, well, we had talked about this before, but remember
Why is a high grade 26S worth so much
exactly.
in comparison to any other date?
Oh, yeah, I could tell you that in 10 minutes. What else will we talk about?
Well, it segues into it has a way of segueing. Trust me.
Mm.
So tell us. I got 10 minutes. Of
Oh, you want my 10 minutes now?
course I do.
I thought we were
No,
going
no.
to do
If
that next
Frostbite
week.
wants it for next week, then
Oh, it doesn't
say
matter. You want to do it now? We can do it now. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that we can do. But we actually talked about your counterfeit collection yesterday.
Oh, you did. I did see a little bit of that. I saw enough to remember the parts that I was going like, huh? What? Do I have one of those? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Morgan dollars that don't exist. The ones
Oh,
Robbie.
I've got those. Those things are way in my my counterfeit book down. My counterfeit book is it's a 2 inch or 3 inch binder, and it weighs like 15 pounds because I got so much crap in it. And it's literally crap because not one coin in there has any real value. But I probably spent thousands of dollars getting all that stuff because, if I see, let's say, a counterfeit 1924D and somebody's counterfeited a 1924D and someone else has bought it as the real deal, they probably spent 40, $50 on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have the you should have bought the book before the coin thought in my head, but actually I just tell them, hey, that's not real, but you know what? I'll still buy it from you. I'll give you $20 for it. And then I buy them for $20 or something like that and stick them in the collection because, well, they add to the overall education of the world if I ever get to the point where I'm doing photographs of it and actually publishing them, which I haven't yet done. But you know, I like teaching people, and I have to have my props. I have to have my resources.
Oh, I get you.
Now, you want to talk about 26S? Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just one of
Yes,
many. We don't have to do it now,
please.
but we can if you want to.
A 26S is a low mintage coin. It was also minted at a time that the country was in a little bit of trouble and people were spending. Um, that kind of what led up to the depression, or part of what led up to the depression. The other thing is the S Mint was kind of a nasty, filthy work environment at the time. And another thing is they were using dyes way beyond the dyes given lifespan, and so they were kind of shoddy in appearance. Their presses weren't doing a great job. The planchet wash that they had that they were using for their planchets at the time wasn't uh, wasn't very conducive to keeping coins red. And all of that put together makes the 26S and anything higher than MS66 red pretty much impossible. Um, because if you compare how the 1926S, the best coins out there look compared to, let's say, a 1926 plane or a 1927 plane in Philadelphia Mint, where a lot more were made and a lot more came out nice, you'll never find a 26S in that quality. And quality is part of it's not just about the strike, and it's not just about the lack of bag marks, and it's not just about uh, the simple parts of grading that are a little easier. It's about overall quality. If the coin doesn't look really pretty overall, it can't get above a 66 grade. Regardless of how you technically want to grade it, eye appeal is one of the important parts of grading a coin because grading is a totally subjective thing. So because they were basically horrible quality coins from beginning to end. 1926S could possibly not ever achieve above a 66 red grade, which is why the finer known ones like 19 or the MS65 reds, what few are actually out there, um, they uh, they're really valuable. I mean, they're 25 grand plus. Um, it is the condition census rarity for the entire set because I don't think a 67 red exists. And 67 red is actually relatively common with some of the other coins of that era. And that's what I got to say about that. It's the part of it is the wash. The wash turned the coins brown over a lengthy period of time. So most of the early branchment Lincolns, if you look at them in red grade, you're not going to see that nice, brilliant orangish red color that you'll see with more modern wheat cents. It's that yellowish, orangish red color
Mm.
that people are really after. What you're going to see with these is more of a pinkish to I don't know, weird color starting to turn brown, and that could possibly be because they were mucked with at some point, and there's just not really good evidence that they were, so they grade anyway.
It's like that prom dress pink.
Yep, and they no matter what you do, they're going to be ugly because if you try to do anything with that and change that color, you're going to change it in the wrong direction no matter what you try to do. Because oxidized copper is oxidized copper, it can't go back to an unoxidized state. I've had this discussion with people in the past, and there really isn't anything safe that you
That's
can
just a
do.
26. It's not a 26S.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
that shows you a 1926 and how pretty they can be.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to go to that link and then click on red and see where the condition census coin is in red. It's 65.
65.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
65 red is the nicest coin ever graded, and that's brown. That's not really a red color.
Look at that.
That's the best they come.
It's crazy.
And with that quality of luster, that quality of surface appeal, you're never going to get past a 66 grade with a 26S, no matter what you do. And if you do get that penultimate 66 red, you're going to be talking about a 500 grand coin. You're going to be talking about the most expensive Lincoln cent ever made.
Yeah,
It's
I can tell
crazy.
you, I had a opportunity to hold one of those,
Yeah.
and you did too. We were all sitting at the picnic table, and I couldn't hold it. I was
Mhm.
just like, I don't even want to touch it.
Yep.
Uh,
Is
I
that
have
our doctor
photographed.
buddy, Brian?
no,
No, no,
it
no,
was
no.
another guy at the fun show, a dealer that Chuck knew. He had his Lincoln Cent collection there, and he had just regraded his 1909 SVDB, and it became the top pop.
He owns, I think, the third or fourth finest Lincoln cent set.
I think he said second. There was one that was
Was it
more.
That
second?
coin is so much more attractive than that last one, that red one you showed.
Right? But they're really, I mean,
Yep.
here's my argument with this. If you go between the red and the red brown, there's no real difference between them.
No.
The red
It's
brown actually has better
so much
luster.
more attractive. Yep. The red brown was such a better looking coin to me, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you.
But then go down to 65 and red brown and see what they've been going for. Oh, $10,000, $14,000 price tag. Then you look at the 65 red, and those things are
Mm-hmm.
$100,000.
Crazy.
Crazy.
And I actually was sitting in the room at a heritage auction when Jack Lee bought his, and it might be the one that's pictured there. I don't know, not sure, but it was a 65 red. Jack Lee bought it for $26,500,
Ay, ay, ay.
and I was
Ben,
there.
right? Sure.
I was there. I was one of the people who did a golf clap when he bought it,
Crazy
because that's
stuff.
like history made. When you're paying over 25 grand for a Lincoln cent, that's history made right there. That's a lot closer to what mine looks like, except mine has a few more marks on it. Mine's probably a 64 brown.
I like that. I do like that.
Very pretty coin.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but that one's been cleaned.
Somebody touched it.
Yeah, it's messed with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not only fingerprinted, but it's also messed with. It has
No, yeah, that's what I meant.
it has a chemical sheen to it that has a fingerprint messing it up. But that chemical sheen is a very old chemical sheen. It's not something that's been done in recent past.
But I
But
like it.
And is it straight graded because it's been so long ago?
it's straight graded because there's not a lot of evidence to prove that.
Was that a 66 brown? Yeah.
Hmm. So there's a beautiful coin that has turned because of the planchet wash.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't stay red. I see you get me on the right subject,
It is
and
a beautiful coin,
and,
though.
and I don't shut up. But you start talking about Disney and coin privies and stuff, and I just
That's why I brought you up.
I just
Come on, Chuck. Come up here and talk about
talk about something worthwhile.
something. I don't know. I'm over it. I don't want to. I don't want to give those people any more of my time. I just think it's crap.
when when I left Modern Coin Mart, I never looked in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Not one time. I dealt with advertising, modern forced rarities by, and I even designed some of that stuff where it's a modern coin that was made by private mint, and there were only 10,000 of them made, and
Mm-hmm.
a mintage like that is infinitesimally small when you talk about what the mint does.
Right.
But when you talk about a privately minted coin, you have to appeal to the masses, and that you have to have the masses want them. Well, there was just enough mass to want these to sell them out.
Mm-hmm.
But really boil down to it, there's not enough mass that still wants them to make them valuable, because that's what you have to have is a continually exceeding demand over supply, and you eventually get to a point where it's valuable. Like for instance, the book that I published back in 2005. That book is
Looking through
exceeding.
Lincoln Cents that I
Yes,
can't find.
it's
Yeah.
increasingly difficult to find, and it's
Yes.
increasingly expensive.
It is, except that I found one and ended up letting Adam buy it for like $10. Oh, I still kick myself over that, but
Robbie
whatever.
just Robbie just bought one at his shop for $1.
That was your first edition too that he
Was it the
bought.
first edition? Oh
Yeah,
wow.
he sent it to you to sign, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Those things are rare.
Yeah,
Um,
and I found one for $10 and let Adam buy it. What is
where was it?
I don't know. It was somebody was selling. So Shay sent us a link to somebody that was selling all their books. They had a
Oh,
complete like book collection, and they were selling all their books for super cheap. I don't know if it was somebody that had passed away and their family was selling it or what. But ever anyway, they had sent out this link and it was in there, and I was like, God, here, if somebody wants this, go ahead, and if you don't want it, I'll get it. And I'd still anyway, I should have just kept my mouth shut, but whatever.
well, I don't want to lead anybody on any wild goose chases, but if you want one of the first edition books, your best place to look is in Oklahoma, because about
Okay.
half of the first edition books sold in Oklahoma.
Well, I have it on my wish list on thrift books, and I got a notification yesterday that the second edition came up for sale for like $149. I didn't buy it.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't buy it.
I don't think I blame you at all.
But yeah. Anyway, it doesn't come up very often. Um, I'll probably never come. I'll never come across a deal like that again. I don't know, unless I can find somebody like Ken or somebody that has one that they're willing to part with. But
But that too, in effect, is part of the problem with the overall modern coin market. Is
hmm
that a lot of people will. Um,
that's the first
well,
edition, I believe. That's a spiral bound.
no, this is second.
That's the second. I
Yeah,
can't see the picture. Oh, my chat's in the way. Never
yeah.
mind.
The
There
first
it is.
edition. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
first edition has a different cover.
Yeah.
Um, It's also
I just saw the
304
spiral.
pages, not 335.
I just saw the
And it was
spiral.
published in 2004, and it was self-published, so it never had a UPC, so it's not going to be in any of the major bookstores. Because
If someone returns a flowing hair because of milk spots, what does the mint do? Probably melts them down.
Destroys it. Yeah, they
Mhm.
any coin or metal that's returned because of damage gets melted. That's listed on their site.
Azure Blue, you're so sweet, but he doesn't have any copies. I've hit him up for years for that.
oh, me? Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I haven't had any of them in a long time.
I've been hitting him up for years for a copy of that. But that was very sweet of you.
Holy
Very
smokes.
sweet.
My desk is almost clean.
What?
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
Look what happens to Eric when he gets bored.
Right.
Chuck come on and started talking. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go through these, see what's in these 25 rolls.
Oh my
Sit-
Well, why
gosh,
don't you
my
talk for a while so I can
I
right.
clean my
talked
desk?
earlier, man. I talked a lot yesterday.
Yeah, I sat in the chair and watched you guys after the show was over. I think I came on. I think it said streamed 12 minutes ago when I went on yesterday. I thought I'd catch you guys.
Chuck, while you're here, if
Yeah.
you would like, you can, because we touched a bit on the 96 wide AM yesterday, just for a second, because none of us had firsthand knowledge about it. Do you want to talk about it? You don't have to name any names, but do you want to tell them
Yeah,
why
we
it's not a
specifically
thing?
didn't name names, but we talked about it.
Yeah, we didn't name
Well,
any names, but we
I,
talked
I
about it. But
can't
you want to?
can't really share the story without naming names. If that's allowed, I'll do
Well,
it.
I don't. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think he cares. I don't think Frostbite
I
cares if
don't
we
think
name
anybody
names.
cares that was involved.
I'm not
It's not
excited
going to
about
be.
it.
Yeah,
No.
not going to be anybody that's going to be
Okay.
watching.
Um, it was sometime in 2000 or 2001,
Hold on,
maybe.
I need my popcorn.
That there you go. Okay. Yes, now I'm front stage and center. Thank you very much. Thank you.
They can do that.
Um, it was sometime in 2000 or 2001. A numismatist and author by the name of Billy Crawford came up with images and sent them to a small circle of people, and it was of a 1996 White AM Lincoln Cent. And um, people like Ken Potter and Bill Fiva, JT Stanton, um, me. I think John Wexler was also uh, given a share at this. And basically, he emailed it to the group. And the group started having a little bit of a chat through the email where they were wanting him to send the coin, let us look at it, let us see it, and let us photograph it, blah blah blah. And then, kind of out of the blue, I had a phone conversation with one of that group, which I'm not going to name, and we kind of looked at the pictures real closely and agreed that there was a seam on the inside of the rim on the obverse of the coin, and we kind of agreed that it didn't appear really right. And so we kind of agreed at that point in time that it was likely not a real 1996 Lincoln Cent, that it was something where the obverse had been added to the coin. Well, since that, we've proven that that does happen and
With the
has happened.
92, right?
Yes. Yeah, with the 92 close AMs. And there was at least one of those graded by PCGS, so it slipped through them. And
I
basically,
thought
what
there were several of those 92. I thought Brian Rains had
there might be
several of
several of
them.
them. I
Yeah,
know that the person
that were
who
graded.
the person who initially got them found like 10 of them, so he says.
Mhm.
I don't know
Mhm.
whether he was the one that was being sleight of hand about it, or whether he
Mm.
actually thought he ran into something good. But Jason Went was the person who actually sent one of them to me,
Mm.
and it had already been peeled apart. And he sent me another one that had not been peeled apart, so I could do it on camera. Because this was, I mean, this was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars spent and wasted on coins that had been manufactured. But basically, what it was a Lincoln Cent where the obverse had been milled off to the nth degree, and then the obverse of a dated coin was milled down from the back, so the zinc was milled off until they started hitting copper, and then they used some sort of black tar glue to glue the obverse onto the remainder of the coin. And the only measure of incorrectness about it was there was a very slight bulge to the design overall, like the fields had a little bit of a bulge to them, and there was a seam running around the inside of the obverse. And if you look at the image that's up there on the screen right now, you'll see that if you look to the right and up from the date, right along the rim, you can see a little bit of a seam right in there. And that's what we were looking at when we noticed that this coin just doesn't look right. So we were waiting for Billy to send it to us. And Billy went to a coin show, I think in Sumter, South Carolina or something. He was from South Carolina. So he went to a coin show in South Carolina and called the police and reported a robbery, that he had been robbed at the in the parking lot of the coin show. And in as a result of this robbery, he lost this coin in one of the boxes that he was carrying. And he was supposed to have been sending the coin to us, but he claims that he had carried the coin to a show to get it graded or to show it to somebody or something, and lost it in a robbery. And later he was pressed. Now, if I'm not mistaken, his brother had something to do with it, where he was questioned or something to that effect. And it came out that he actually did not get robbed, and that he had filed a false police report, and he got in trouble for that. And then about 2 years later, he passed away. So Billy's no longer with us, but no one ever saw that coin except Billy. If it even exists, that could be a graphic job for all we know. And
Yeah.
I could reproduce a graphic like that in 15 minutes. So I don't know. Nobody really knows whether the coin actually existed because nobody saw it but Billy.
I was talking earlier about how, isn't it funny that that happened so long ago, and yet people still, even new collectors,
Yep.
are still believe it's a thing.
Yep. There are still people out there looking for the 96 wide AM. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there's some chance that it could exist, a 95, a 94, a 97. Any of those could possibly
Yeah,
exist.
of course.
We were
But
just saying that earlier.
it's been better than 20 years now, and nobody's found one.
Right.
So that kind of tells us that it may not exist.
None of them existed until they did,
But you
right?
know what? The
Wasn't it just a
1917.
few years ago that the 98S proof close AM was discovered, or
No, that was 2004. I was the one.
2004? Okay.
Yeah, I brokered the sale of the discovery piece, the very first one.
Okay.
That was at a coin show in Oklahoma City. And in fact, it was the coin show where I took my book to sell my book. It was the very first place I publicly sold my book.
Oh, wow.
And I found this coin at the show, made a phone call, and the guy says, "Yeah, sure. Buy it for me if you can." And I said, "Well, what's your limit?" And he said, "Well, try to get it for around 1,200 and see what happens." So I ended up buying it. I bought it for $1,400, and I took the coin, and it was still in the original proof set that it had been discovered in, with a newspaper article from the local newspaper saying that they had found a rarity, blah blah blah. But yeah, this 98S white AM proof was in this proof set, original box and paperwork. It looked like a $10 proof set, but I put that in registered mail the next day to the person who purchased it from me.
Close, right?
And close.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, the close
Yes.
AM. That's right.
And the 99S too. Maybe it was the 99S that Victor Cruz found. I can't remember. Somebody found one.
The 99S is like 10, 15, 20 times as common.
Yeah.
I actually found 2 or 3 of those at a coin show, and an ex-wife, a previous wife of mine, one of my test wives.
Test wife.
Yes. She attended that show with me because it was actually, we lived in Missouri and it was in Memphis, Tennessee. So it was a 5-6 hour drive to that. But at that show, she was going to be doing basically nothing. So she asked me to teach her something so she could look. And so I showed her what a wide AM was, gave her a loop, a wide and a close AM, and gave her a loop and said, go check all the 99 proof sets you can find. She actually found one and bought it.
Nice. I sold a set last year in Tulsa, 98S and a 99S graded.
Oh, you had the 98? Wow.
I had both of them.
Yeah,
I sold
I don't
the
think
pair.
there's more. I don't think there's more than a couple of dozen of those known.
Yeah, I sold the pair for pretty cheap.
The 99, there's hundreds and hundreds of those. I've got 2 or 3 of those sets right now. The 99. I'd have to dig through boxes to find them, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else do I talk about?
I'm surprised. Well, had Brian Rains been there last year, he probably would have fought for that one. But
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, he's bought a few things from me. I'm a sucker when it comes to like selling my stuff. People can talk me down to. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you never know
do
if he's buying or not. Some shows you go and he's like, nope.
Yeah.
Not buying.
He bought.
And then other shows you see him cherry picking the whole show.
It's very unusual that he's not buying. There's usually a sign on his table that says, "Come and find me. Here's my number. Call
Right.
me."
Yep.
Well, the thing with Brian is he's a one trick pony, and kind of like I am. If I'm out of money, I'm out of money. My business is out of money. I'm out of money. I can't buy anything, and it's the same thing with him. If he had just made a large purchase of somebody's collection or something, he's not going to be buying.
Yeah.
And
he only stays like one day. He only stays like
Well,
one day. He's never there on Saturdays, I think, because he's a Seventh-day
yeah,
Adventist.
that's a religious conviction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's I've had dinner with him, and we have to pick. We've had to pick the restaurant and the time and the day around his religious schedule. But I mean, Brian has always been right straight up front with you. He's always been very that I know of. He's always been extremely honest with everyone. And if you want to have a conversation that will end before sunset, you have to you have to not talk about VAMs. Because he will talk with you about VAMs
all day,
like it's something everyone knows. Well, you know that VAM 27A. I'm like, no, I don't. But
Chuck, he also has a story for just about everything that's in his case.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. You say, hey, how much for that coin? And it always is, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to sell that.
Yeah, right.
That's his first lead line in sales. I'm not sure I want to sell that one.
Well, you can buy it, but it's not going to be cheap.
That's usually what that means. That's code.
Yeah.
Because there was a 43 DRPM, and I'm thinking, oh, he's going to ask $300 for it, and I'm going to say $250, and I'll buy it. I think it's like RPM 3 or something like that, the big one. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I want $1,300 for it, and I was just like, oh. Even Brian was with me, and he's like, man. He says, that's worth $500. And I looked at him. I said, man, I can remember him selling on eBay for $25.
You better be sitting down when you talk to him about stuff like that. Otherwise, you'll hurt your head.
Right.
Did you make it over to his table, Frostbyte? You're muted.
Yes, I did when I was in Tulsa.
Okay, yeah. Good. Yeah. He's got some amazing stuff.
Especially when he brings it all.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is he seems to always, like at the fun show in January, he seems to always have Anex bring him his submission that he has submitted before that.
Mm-hmm.
He's always got like 3 or 4 boxes to look through that he hasn't looked through yet. And that's a good time. But like Chuck says, you got to have time because each coin's got a little 30, 40-minute spiel that goes with it.
20-minute story.
Mm-hmm.
That he found it. Yeah, he remembers everything.
I have no problem with that. I love listening to people. I love listening.
Yeah, at this show is where I found this coin.
Yeah.
Well, I used to live down not far from where Eric lives now in Bradenton, Florida. And anybody who knows or doesn't know where that is, but does know where Tampa is, it's about 40 miles south of Tampa on the other side of the bay. And I was driving to Pennsylvania one time, and I was going up there to look at a collection. And Brian called me as I was driving through Gainesville, Florida, and I was driving right past the University of Florida campus when I got Brian Rains on my phone. So I answered it, and I talked with him. I talked with him until I crossed the Pennsylvania state border.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like my conversations with Potter.
Yeah.
I was about to say
I-
Ken Potter's another one you can have a 3 or 4 hour. It's like, hey,
Oh,
Yeah.
hey,
I sat in
Frosty,
Eric's.
Ken's on the
I sat in
phone. It's
Eric's
like, all right, we'll
driveway.
talk to you
You
tomorrow.
remember that, Eric? I
Oh
sat in
yeah,
your
for over
driveway
an
and talked
hour.
with Ken Potter for a long time,
Oh yeah, I gotta like book half a day.
right?
And the only reason he hung up is everybody was like, "Come on, we've got shit to do."
Yeah, right.
Hmm. Well, if he has to walk his dog, then the conversation's over.
Oh,
Gotta walk the
Yeah,
dog.
no, we had me and Brian Allen sitting in the driveway waiting for Chuck, and Chuck's like, he's like shrugging his shoulders and this and that.
I know what
and
you want
Brian.
me
Then
to
Brian's like,
do.
"Who are you talking to?" And I said, "Ken Potter." He says, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah, I know what you're going
Yeah.
through."
You need some water, something to eat.
Right.
Morning, Pedro.
I'm gonna need a transfusion if I keep doing this.
Oh
Well, folks,
well.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap stuff up for today. I got some things I've got to take care of. I've got to get
All
to
right. Have a great day, you guys.
Yeah, see
supporting.
y'all
See you
soon. See you next
later.
weekend.
Chuck, thanks for
Coming up.
coming up
Chuck,
and
bye,
joining
Eric.
us.
Bye,
I
Frostbyte.
appreciate you.
Absolutely. If you talk to me ahead of time, I'll actually be prepared.
Well, we'll figure out something. We'll discuss some stuff. Bye, Paula. Love you. Um, we'll talk about some stuff. We'll figure out a good topic, and we'll have you uh, kind of regale us with your stories. And
Sure. I have plenty of them. Most of them are true.
and I love the banter and the jokes. So, you have any reveals going on today?
I should. I don't have them scheduled, but I should. If I do get to the ones I have, let's see, what do I have? I have a 1951 S roll. I have a 1972 original Bancraft roll. I have a 1953 S roll and a 1946 S roll. I've got those 4 rolls left to do.
Very cool. Well, I'll be
Oh,
looking
and a
for
55 S.
I'll be looking for any. If you guys haven't already done so, go check out coppercoins.com. Check out Coppercoins on YouTube. He does a lot of really cool things. So go over and check out his channel. Again, thanks for coming up, brother. I really appreciate you and all your wisdom.
Thanks a lot, man. Be
All
good.
right. We'll talk to you later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I got work to get done for the family. So I hope you take care. Again, Coin Crew is coming up here in about 15 minutes. Go check him out. But talking about all this stuff, I want to say one thing. Just because we get frustrated or just because we have certain thoughts doesn't mean that you have to subscribe to my chain of thought. It doesn't mean that you have to say, well, Frosty said this, and so I'm going to do this. Make up your own minds. It's really important to me that we give you information, we explain why we do or don't like something, and we have general conversations of it. But again, make up your own mind, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. Just, we're here if you want to talk about it, okay? All right, folks. Love you guys. Be well, be blessed, and I will see you guys in the stream.